Hey everybody, my name is Ryan from Upper Deck, and today we are going to be learning how to play Aliens Bug Hunt in depth. That means we're going to go over every ounce of every rule. Not really, but we're going to go pretty in depth. Now, if you do not have this game, it comes out September 30th, or it has already come out on September 30th, depending on when you watch this video. It is $39.99 on our upperdeckstore.com, and you can get it there. It is 1 to 4 players, and we will see that. You have the 4 player cards here. And games last between 45 to 60 minutes. Let's dive in. You can feel free to skip ahead to the different segments that I've put in the video if you have a question about just one specific rule. All right, here we go. These are all the pieces of the game, and we are going to set them up. But first, let me talk about what comes in the box so that you can make sure you have all the pieces and you have any questions. So, you open the box and you have a read this first. This is a mission order that gives you a little bit of story of what is going on. Now on this card, it gives you the situation. It gives you the mission itself. You have some general instructions based off of how many players you are playing with. Now, when you get this, you have the order to pass out the rule dossiers. Now, these rule dossiers, we decided as a design team to split up the rules so that not any one person is having to learn a game of this detail. Now, it may seem like a lot, but the game is rather simple. But it is broken up into 4 different dossiers: the platoon leader, the master sergeant, intel sergeant, and the communication specialist. Now, within each, and I will not go into this much detail in this video, but within each dossier are specific game setup responsibilities and how to build and how to set it all up, but then also what to do during the game. And so this teaches multiple aspects of the game, and you will then take your information that you've read in your dossier and pass it to the next person by verbally telling them, this is how this works, this is how this works, and so on and so forth. And so that is a cool way that we decided to break up learning this game. And it's also a lot of fun to do in full character. All right, and so that is the dossiers, but we're going to set it up just me, because it is just me. But what else is in the game, in the box that you get? You have your dice, the Xenomorph dice. You have the APC board, which is going to be where you start, where it says right here, your entrance. All characters here will be on there. We have our 4 minis. I will do, you have Hicks, Apone, Hudson, and Vasquez. I'll do a close-up shot of each of those for you. So you can see the amazing detail of each of those characters. So these pieces here can pop out. So depending on what player tile you have, you can then put that. So if you're like, hey, I want to be Apone, then take the green because you're green player board, and you put it on Apone. Pop out really easy. Got the hole in the bottom, so it makes it really easy to just pop that right out. Love that. You have your mission cards. Now the mission cards are going to be used to win the game. You're going to choose 3 mission cards. Each mission card has some type of ability or thing that you can use. So once you get a mission token, you will fill up each mission card. And once you have the tokens on it, you can flip the tokens, which we will get to, like this, and use that ability. And again, we will get that when we get into the gameplay itself. So to start the game, you'll choose 3 of those. You have your alien cards, which will fill up the phase deck. And the phase deck here is how a player will, or who will decide who goes next. So instead of just moving left to right, you will have different player cards. So the red player, the yellow player, the green player, blue player, and then you have your alien. So the aliens get their turn. And then you have your lieutenant command card chooses who you choose as a group who goes next. And so we'll show you how that works. Make it through there. We have our alien token, which goes over here on the alien hive track, which we will get to. You have your mission tokens. You have your character cards. These are all the different characters you can be. And there is so many, but I love them all. Each have a special ability for their main character. They have a quote. Eat this from the movie. You have Hudson. Went a little quick there. Lieutenant Gorman, Ripley, so on and so forth. Then you have your Grunts. Now, the Grunts are your basic cards that would go into your squad, or you have the main characters, and up close to a degree, you have your attack and your health, or your armor. And that is how many wounds you can take. So we will go over all that in depth. Then you have your tracking deck. Tracking deck are from the alien cards, which you will draw from using in the Xenomorph phase. Mission tokens, you have your breach tokens. This is how you will breach through different areas of the map, and I will show you how that happens. You have your wounds. Some wounds, they all look like this, but some have KIA on them. Others are blank, and we will explain what that is all about. And then, of course, you need these, your different tiles. Some tiles will have more things than others. So like this one has a mission token and 2 hive with 2 barriers you see on each side here by the debris, or instead of it's open up here like that. This one has the debris on this side, but it's open on all 3 sides, and only 1 xenomorph spawns here, and we will get into all that in the different tiles. All right, now the last but not least is your player board. Now the player board here gives you your 3 spots for your characters, which would place on the board, and they will either be depleted or ready, depending on if you've used them or not. And what we'll show you here as a reminder, your turn sequence. Now your turn sequence here, you will start with your movement, and then you can choose one of these 4 actions, whether it is shoot at the xenomorphs, or you can capture the objective, you can breach a barrier, or you can reload, moving your depleted characters, which would look like this, because they're depleted, to ready position. Now they're ready, in which case now you can use their attack and their ability. Give me a second and let me get this all set up. All right, so getting this set up, I'm going to make all my piles, which I didn't really move a lot, but I'm going to kind of break this down. These alien cards will be used later, so I'm going to just put these off to the side, just kind of right in here. However you want to organize yourself, you can. Then on the phase deck, well, it's just me playing. I'll play just a 2-player game as a solo to teach you guys and show you guys how it's done. So I have a red and blue. So in the phase deck, I'm going to use this card because that's where I'll choose. I'm using red, I'm not using yellow, and I'm not using green. So these cards will be out for right now. And just put these off to the side, or I will not use them. And I will use blue and alien cards. So this will be my phase deck, and I will shuffle this up and put this aside right there. That's my phase deck. Now, with my phase deck there, I will need to choose 3 mission cards. And so I'm just going to choose a random 3, and I'm going to go these 3. And the rest will be off to the side for a future game. So these guys here, I need to mission secure nerve gas, and you probably won't be able to see it from that far. Secure nerve gas. We have secure spaceport and restart the water purification system. Now each one of these have their own ability. I'm not going to show you each one of them, but secure nerve gas, activate at any time, destroy up to 3 xenomorphs in a single tile that contains no squads. So I will be able to use those once I capture different tokens. So let's start with that. So let's put these off to the side where I can read them, just kind of over here. Now you'll notice a big step here is all my wounds are facing with the skull and crossbones up. Now remember, you have 2 different sides, a blank and a KIA. So you want to make sure that when you take those wounds, it is random. So you want to make sure they're all skull side up. You have your tile tokens, and you can use the different trays here, and they were designed so you can have all those things in there. I like having them on the table. Okay, now we have our tracking deck, which I will just put right here, just for the sake of in the frame, but out of the way. And I'm playing with red and blue, so I will take red and blue, and I will start on Sector 3, which is the entrance. Now, the Hive Tracker, which is the alien token, will then be placed over here, and we will get to this section when we get there. But that is the full setup. You have your mission objective token pile, you have your barrier pile, you have your wound pile, you have your phase deck that's shuffled up only with the players that you're playing with. You have your tracking deck, which is shuffled as well, which I didn't shuffle. I should probably shuffle. Shuffle that up, put that down. All right, I'm going to put this right here so we can kind of see it better. Alien deck. And then you have your 3 mission cards that are off to the side. All right. So with my 2 characters here in Sector 3, you will then start the game with a alien phase. Now, a Xenomorph phase it happens at each one of these green icons here on the hive track. So since it starts on 1, you actually start the game with a Xenomorph phase. So as soon as everything starts, you are going to attack squads with Xenomorphs in their tile to take damage. Well, that's not there yet, right? There are no Xenomorphs already on there, so you cannot do that phase. Movement, Xenomorphs move phase. Again, no Xenomorphs yet. So you will immediately jump to the spawn phase at the start of the game. You will draw and resolve a tracking card. A tracking card over here with the tracking below. So to start the game, you will have the tracking card. Now, one thing I forgot to do is actually choose my characters. So I'm just going to pick a Pwn. I guess it doesn't matter if it matches the mini. But I'm going to do a Pwn here. And we'll do Dietrich over here. And we'll just do 2 Grunts. Now, one thing you may be wondering is, okay, what is a point man? Now, point man has a couple different rules that happen when he's there, but a point man is the one that will take the damage when attacked by an alien or a xenomorph. So point man is represented by point man right here. So this grunt will be kind of my first line of defense when a xenomorph attacks. So now that I have these up, and we'll get there when we get there, but now that I have my character cards, we have a Pwn and Dietrich, red and blue. Now we can resolve, and now we are fully ready to go. So we resolve the spawn step of tracking. So flip this card, and it looks like, and on the card you will see the 5 sectors, 1 through 5, that match the sectors on the board. So I'll even turn it so we can kind of see. Sector 1, there's no Xenomorphs. 2, no. But there is 2 in Sector 4 and 2 in Sector 5. So what I'll do is I'll take 2 dice, or 2 Xenomorphs. Starting from the closest to the APC board, left to right, I will then place those Xenomorphs. And I'll explain how to spawn these as we get closer. But ultimately what you're looking for is a hive. Well, right now, there's no tiles. But a hive will look, let's see if I can get one right at the start. A hive will look like this. All right, this little 2 right here. Well, since there are no tiles with hives, I'm just going to get closest empty spot from the tile, which all of them are empty, but these are spawning in 4. So 2 there, and 2 and 5. Okay, doesn't matter which way they are, doesn't matter. But I will explain when we get moving. So that will be the end of the spawn phase. So to start the game out, we have 4 aliens. Okay, we have to make sure we get them before they escape off the board, and we're going to do that by entering the sector through Sector 3 into the complex. So from Sector 3, we're going to enter the complex, explore tiles, and hopefully get all our objective tokens and get out of here. So I'll show you a couple different turns here. So it all starts with the phase deck after we have resolved the alien phase, or the xenomorph phase. So from the phase deck, we flip, and oh no, it's an alien card right out the bat. So what that does is it has a cool quote, game over, man, game over. We have +1 to the alien hive track. So this will be our discard pile for now. We move this up 1. And again, nothing happens, only when it hits here for one of these green tokens, or here, which is kind of hard to see, but it's also only this card shrunken down to let you know to add an additional 1 to the phase deck to make it harder. So that would resolve that turn. You're done. Next phase card, it is red's turn. And that's how that works. It's very simple. Flip the card, whoever's color it is, there you go. So red has multiple things that they can do. You have your movement. So you have 3 movement points to move your squad. Your squad moves as a whole. It's all 3 characters are within your 1 mini. We're going to explore that first tile. Again, you can only enter through Section 3. So for my movement, I'm going to move into and explore a new tile. So I will take a tile and flip it over. Now on a tile, there's a lot to mention here, but you're going to look for 1, where the light is. the light here will then show you where it will connect to. So light is here. I will then connect it to sector 3 like this. But another thing to know is it's a hive of 1. So we connect it here, but now we spawn another xenomorph, and Dietrich goes into there. Movement ends right when you discover a new tile, or you run out of movement. In this case, I discovered a new tile, so my movement is ended, but my turn is not over, right? I can now use one of these actions. I can shoot the xenomorph. I can capture an objective tile, if there was one there. So there's not, right? Because an objective tile would look like this. I can breach a barrier. Now, barrier is represented by this extra blockage, and that would breach, and it clears away. The only way to move through a barrier is to spend 2 movement points, right? To spend 2 movement points through, or if it's breached. And there's a couple other things there. So then, or I can reload if my characters were depleted. They're not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to deplete my point man grunt and attack this alien. Okay? So depleting is as simple as dragging down. Now it's depleted. That gives me 2 attack, but there's only 1 xenomorph in the tile. So that's plenty enough attack. I will then pick up the die, roll it, and depending on what side it lands on, which is I killed it, I will either destroy the alien, it will attack me, which is red. If it lands on red, then I get a wound, in which case I will then grab a wound and put it to the person that was in the fight. So since this grunt was the one that was attacked, these cannot gain a wound, these other characters. But I got this, which kills an alien. The other one is a white, which is, it's ultimately like you missed, okay? The alien doesn't attack you, but it doesn't go away. The alien would then stay in that tile, possibly attacking you in a future turn. So red, you get a wound. Blank, you killed it. White, you shot and you ultimately missed. It just stays there. It doesn't attack you back. But I killed it, so this goes into the tray. It's important to keep this tray full, because if it runs out and a Xenomorph phase happens and you have to spawn Xenomorphs, but there's no more, you lose the game. So it's important that you make sure you're constantly putting Xenomorphs back in there, killing them before they either escape, because if they escape, which we might get to, then they don't ever go back into the pile. They're out of the game, and you are now limited even further on how many Xenomorphs are left. All right, so that is my turn, right? I moved 1 space, new tile, ends my turn, okay? And I used my action, which I shot with a grunt. And that is my 1 action, and I am done. So then we grab the next card of the phase deck, and it is red again, which is great. So now I can show you guys moving into the next tile. So again, I can go through this barrier, just go through it. I don't breach it. I can just go through it with using 2 movement points, or I can go out a different way. So I'm going to get into here, because if it comes to the movement, Xenomorphs move 1 space, their first movement is to a person in an adjacent tile, which would be me. So they would move to me, we're safe. But these guys are not 1 tile adjacent to me, so they will actually escape. I don't want that. So I'm going to explore this tile. So I'll take another tile. Again, you connect it based off the white, so the white will go into where I'm moving. And then you fill out the tile. So it's 1 Xenomorph. So take another one of these. And that adds a 3rd one. And we have a mission token. And these are what we're looking for. So this is very good for me. And then I would move my character in there. All right. So what is my play now? I have a grunt down. There's 3 Xenomorphs and a mission token. I think the most important thing to realize is you can capture the objective anytime, as long as you're in there. But that takes your action. Again, I explored a new tile, so my movement's done. But now, what do I do for my action? I can deplete 2 characters, or let's do this. Dietrich has an ability. Whenever Dietrich shoots, target 2 additional Xenomorphs in your tile. So, with an attack of 1 and the ability, I can actually attack all 3 if I deplete her. But then she is a target. So for any Xenomorphs that land on a red, she has to gain a wound. I think I'm going to do that. So I am going to deplete Dietrich, and I'm going to be able to roll my one attack plus the ability. So I'll make her depleted, pick up my three Xenomorphs, and roll. All right, perfect. So I defeated one, goes into the pile. The white one stays in there, doesn't attack me, but it stays in there. The red one attacks me and stays. So now I have to take a random wound, all face down, and put it on Dietrich. Now Dietrich is down, has 3. You can't see it down here, but it has 3 health. Now is down to 2. Once it fills up, once I get 3 on her, then the next wound she gets, which would, quote unquote, be the 4th wound, I would then, instead of adding a 4th wound, I would flip one of these 3, and hopefully it's not KIA, otherwise she is done. That is my movement. I moved over, and I did my action, which was shoot with Dietrich, and that is it. I can only do one action. Okay? Now we turn the next card of the phase deck. We have blue. Okay? Blue will now has 3 movements, so I can go in 1, I can go here, or I can go in and help my teammate, right? It's not blocked by a barrier. I can actually shoot from here into here. And so I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I use my 1 movement. I'm going to stop moving. I don't have to use all 3. I'm going to use my 1 movement, be here. And now I'm going to take one of my grunts, my point man grunt, deplete him, and I'm going to shoot into this tile. And the only way I can do that is if this passage is clear. I cannot shoot through a barrier. So if the Xenomorphs were up here, I cannot shoot through that. But I can in this case. So I'm going to deplete the grunt, pick up the 2 Xenomorphs, and I destroyed them both. Now, for the sake of example, say it landed on white. This Xenomorph does not attack anybody, but instead of staying in this tile, it would then move to this tile. It would come into my tile. Same with the red one. Now, the red one, or the red attack, doesn't wound me, but it comes to my tile. So that's the benefit of shooting into an adjacent tile, is you're protected by that distance. You're not up close and personal with the Xenomorph. You're a little bit further away. But I destroyed both, so they will go into the new pile for a future turn. So I did my movement, and I did my action. Next turn. It's an alien card. So alien cards are going to go up. Move the hive tracker up. Again, the next card will then trigger the Xenomorph phase, but this time, no. Next card. Now, a Lieutenant Command card. I can now choose which player should go again. Well, red has 1 grunt, but blue has 2 grunts. And Opone has a special ability of your squad has +1 movement. So technically, he can move an additional to 4 movement spaces. So what I'm going to do is I am going to move Opone all the way down to these Xenomorphs here. So as a group, you decide who needs to take another turn. After consulting with myself, I'm going to choose blue. So blue will go again. I'm going to go down 1 movement space and explore a new tile as a second movement. And again, once you explore a new tile, you put all the things necessary on it. It's a hive of 2, so 2 more Xenomorphs come here with the 2 already there. A mission token was there, and again, the white light connects to where you came from. All right, that is my movement because I discovered a new tile. Now I go on to my action. So in an action here, I think I need to get rid of those Xenomorphs because, again, the alien phase is next. So if for example, an alien phase took effect, I would then move the tile up, right? Attack. Squads with Xenomorphs in their tile take damage. I would take 4 wounds because there's 4 of them in here. So it's important that I clear those out. Now, you cannot shoot into a blind tile, rewinding a little bit. So say I just wanted to go to here and not discover this tile, but I wanted to try to shoot those 2 Xenomorphs prior. I can't because I need to know what the tile is. I can't shoot into the dark. All right, so I'm up close and personal with these guys. I am going to deplete both Opone and my grunt. And that's only 3. Let's see what I can do. But I needed to do something. and I took out all 3. All blanks, they're all gone. So now I put them back in there. And now, if a Xenomorph Phase hits, now here's the other thing to mention and to keep track of. We know we can see through this discard pile. So we had 2 alien cards. Well, you start the game with 2. So we know for a fact there's not going to be another alien turn until the next reshuffle when these cards run out. So we know that red has taken 2 turns. Blue has taken 2 turns. But remember, each player has 3 cards. So red will get an additional turn. Blue still has 2 of his cards in this stack, which will make 3 cards left. So I know that I'm going to get another turn before an alien can attack me. So that's good to keep manage of. So now that would end my turn because I moved from here to here, and I attacked, and now that is end my turn. So now blue again. Now I am depleted. I have no characters. I can still move, or I can capture the objective. I am going to move 1 to the right. Okay? And so there's a barrier here, but I can spend 2 movement points and move to the right. Now, what this does, it does not breach the barrier. Okay? The barrier is still there. I'm just kind of muscling through it, and now I'm here. Oh, man. So mission tokens here, which is amazing, because I need to collect those, but 3 Xenomorphs are in my tile. So I would take 3 of these, put them on here, and now here I am. So I am depleted, meaning I cannot attack with anybody, but one of my actions is reload. And now reloading, it pushes all characters from depleted to ready. And I think I need the firepower. So I am going to reload, move all these up, and now my characters are ready. I cannot attack because reload is my action, right? Attack is a separate action. So after reloading, my turn is done. Let's see who goes next. Now red is up next. For the sake of this tutorial, I am going to use red to move over or move down, enter this tile, and breach this barrier. So my teammate has my help. So I'm going to use my 1 movement point, even though I have 3 of them. I'm only going to use 1 to come down here, and then I'm going to use my action to breach. Now the breach opens up this passageway. So now not only does it not take 2 movement to cross through it, now I can shoot and we can shoot in each other's tile, which helps tremendously. Again, because if you shoot into a tile with aliens, for example, if blue shot to red's tile, this alien would just move over into my tile if I missed, rather than wounding me if it got a red teeth mark. So that's important. So I did my breach, and that's my action. It is over. Now I know blue has 1 more action, and that ends the phase deck. So let's do blue's turn. And I am going to, with a full squad of 5, I am going to show you how to attack in multiple tiles. Since the passageway is open, I can attack all 4 of these Xenomorphs. So I'm going to deplete 2 of my Grunts, which gives me 4 firepower. Now, it's guaranteed that these will either wound me, right? Or stay they are, or I can destroy them. So I'm going to roll them first. I can roll them all 3 together. Okay. And I destroyed 2. 1 bit me. So I need to take a wound and put it on one of these Grunts. Because, again, going into battle, both these Grunts are eligible for a wound because they both went in. So I'm going to grab a random one. I'm going to put it on my point man. Okay. And so now, with my other attack, because I had 4 and that was only 3, I can attack the one in Dietrich's tile. So I'm going to roll that. Now it's a white claw. Now this now means that this Xenomorph is now going to move into my tile, which helps. Now if a Xenomorph Phase goes off, Dietrich is safe, and I just made the sacrifice play. All right, phase deck is empty, so now I am going to shuffle this up, and then that will start the next phase. Turn, it is an alien card. Okay, this hive track goes up 1, and now we start a Xenomorph Phase, a true Xenomorph Phase. Okay, And what that mean true is because the first one we did, nothing on the board, but now there's stuff. So we go down the list. Attack, squads with Xenomorph in their tile take damage. So the 2 here will go to my point man, and that's why the point man's important, because during these attacks, it goes straight to your point man. So I have 2 in here, so I'm going to take 2 wounds to my point man. You can only take 4, so I got to keep an eye on that. That is the attack phase, right? No Xenomorphs there, no Xenomorphs there, just in that tile. So I would just do that. Movement, Xenomorphs move 1 space. Well, the Xenomorphs are already with me to the nearest player, so they don't need to move. For the sake of example, let's rewind though, and say I had a couple Xenomorphs scattered out like this. Okay? After the attack phase would be the movement phase. So these Xenomorphs would look for adjacent tiles with players. So this Xenomorph would join me here in the movement. This Xenomorph would join me here, but this Xenomorph would then escape. And you just put it right there. And again, if all Xenomorphs escape, or you at any point need to spawn more Xenomorphs on the board than you have, you lose. So it's important not to be overrun. Okay, that was just for example. I don't want these on the board, you know what I mean? All right, so now I do enter the spawn phase though, because that was the example movement, what I just did. But now we're going to go into the spawn phase. And the spawn phase is you're going to take the alien track card, flip that over, and now we know what aliens need to spawn. So we have 2 in Sector 3 and 2 in Sector 4. Now, this is how this works. 2 in Sector 3, I am going to fill up, starting from left to right, I'm going to fill up the hive count in the tile. So in 3 to 4, I'll do like this. 3, I have 1 here, but it's 2 here. So I'm going to fill up this, which is only 1. And then the next one, I'll look over, it's empty, so I put the next one there. Okay? If this was 2, then I'd put both in there. I would fill up that tile before I moved on. But I filled up the tile with 1, so then the next one would go to the next space to the right. In the same way, on 4, I am going to look, starting from left to right, I am going to fill up this hive with 1, and then the next one would go here because this is full, and it goes to the next one there. Okay? If it was Sector 5, then you would fill up accordingly. So say it's like spawn 4 alien or Xenomorphs in Sector 5, I'd put 2 in here because that's full, right? There's 2 here, that's full. And then this is a 3, so I'd put the remaining 3 in here to fill that up as well. All right? Even if there's already existing ones there, I would fill it up based off of that number. All right? And then that card is done. All right, so now that is the spawn phase. Now, alien Xenomorph phase is complete. My poor Grunt definitely got hit on that one. All right. Let's go next turn. It is Blue's turn. Now, for the sake of the example of the tutorial, I'm going to collect a mission token. Okay, so I am not going to move. Actually, I am going to move. So you can only move out of a tile with Xenomorphs in it if you have a teammate close by and the passage is not blocked. Okay? So again, if the barrier was there, I cannot retreat into this tile because my teammate can't help me. But since it's open, I can retreat into this tile without the Xenomorphs following me. And this is great for plays like this. So I'm going to use my movement, move 1 over here, and I can, 1, shoot into these 2 tiles because the paths are both open without any hindrance or any fear of them actually hitting me. They would just move to me. So the benefit of that is there, but for the sake of the example, I am going to collect a mission token. So I'm going to collect that as my action because I finished my movement, and I'm going to put it on this mission. And these abilities can be used anytime throughout the game, but the goal is to complete all 3 of these missions. So I have 3 tiles, but I need 9 total. But this one here is restart the water purification system, activate at any time, remove up to 2 wounds on any character. So that's a great ability for me since my Grunt has 3 on him. Dietrich has 1 already out of the 3, so I'm going to save that. Okay? And so I want to protect my point man grunt. So I'm going to use, I'll just put these back over here, just out of the way. But I'm going to use this token by flipping it upside down. It shows a little X. Activate anytime, remove up to 2 characters or 2 wounds on your characters. So I'll take the 2 wounds, put them back face down. And it still counts towards my mission completion, but I can no longer use that ability unless I get additional tokens to fill up. So I can use that 2 more times. For the sake of example, I'm going to put these cards back on top, and I'm going to move this Hive Tracker up to here. Okay, I just completed the Xenomorph phase. Here we are. And so we reshuffle, and I flip this card here. Okay, well, this token goes up here. And what this top is again, if you don't remember, taking an additional alien card and putting it in the phase deck, adding it to now there's 3 alien cards in the phase deck. And then that is it for that turn. Okay, that's all you do. You don't do the Xenomorph phase, you just add an alien card. Okay, so now that makes that 3 alien cards instead of the 2. So it's more likely that this Hive Tracker starts really speeding up because there's more alien turns in a sense. Once this token and another alien card comes up, it resets to the bottom and you do your Xenomorph phase. Okay. Other things to be aware of are your on tracking cards. There may be some type of action that you must do on top of spawning. So this one here is Mindless Charge. So on order of the spawning, which is the 3rd action, you are going to play the Xenomorph's attack step of the Xenomorph phase again. So with this card, you're going to spawn the 2 in Sector 1 and then do the attack phase, which can be brutal. If you have a ton of Xenomorphs on the board, like I do now, they attack. Okay, they don't move, so like these wouldn't attack me because they wouldn't, but like if I had 2 in my tile here, then those would attack me again. So right in one turn, I could be attacked, they would move into my space, and then I would spawn that card, 2 more in this sector, and then I would play my attack phase again. I could get hit with 5. Now, if there's 2 players in a tile and there's aliens, you choose who gets wounds. So that's important, and you might have to make the sacrifice play. In order to lose the game, there's 2 ways to lose. One, out of Xenomorphs, and they overrun you on the board, either by escaping or they're on the board, like they are now. Or 2, all your characters of 1 person's player tile is defeated. All right, and the last thing that we need to cover is the dreadful and the most exciting part, in my opinion, is flipping a wound to figure out if your character actually dies or not. If your character, or Grunt, for example, has 4 wounds on it, like this one does here, say this Grunt gets an additional wound, right? It's full of wounds already, and an alien attacks me. Okay, I roll the dice, alien attacks me, I get another wound. Well, instead of adding another wound to make 5, this is already maxed at 4. I will then guess and figure out which one of these wounds is a KIA or a blank. And so I'm going to pick this one here, and it's a blank. My Grunt lives another day. Now say a couple turns later, I have to do the same thing, and I pick KIA. My Grunt is officially gone. Flip the wounds back over. Slide him on over here. And he is gone. You can get him off the board. These players then scoot over, and you have a new point man. So it's important to manage the Xenomorphs. Meanwhile, you really need to be pushing for blowing barriers, collecting mission tokens, using those tokens to activate the abilities here. And then once you fill up these mission tokens, by searching all these tiles here, get out. And that means all characters need to get to Sector 3, exit. And again, you can't leave a tile. Like I cannot leave this tile because there's no one to run to or retreat back to. So it's important to not leave a man behind so that a person can leave their tile. Okay, a lot of strategy, but that is how you play Aliens Bug Hunt. To win the game, simple as this: collect the objective tokens and get out alive. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us for an in-depth how to play Aliens Bug Hunt. If you did not get your question answered, leave it in the comments. We are checking these daily to make sure you guys are fully educated on how to play the game. Also, check the dossiers. We also have a PDF that you can scrape through if you want to just do a quick search there. And this is an exciting game that can ramp up really, really fast. So we encourage you, manage those xenomorphs. It's important to attack when you have an attack, but also it's important to collect when you have a collect. The longer the game goes on, the more that hive tracker ticks up and another alien card's added to the phase deck, in which case more aliens. So it's a really intense balance of making sure that you're taking out the xenomorphs when you can, but also that you and your team and your squads are going out and making sure all tiles are discovered, because again, you can have only 2 missions out there, but the rest are in the tile stack here that you need to go find. So make sure you're exploring new tiles, you're not leaving men behind or women behind, and that you are managing those xenomorphs. Thank you guys for joining me in Aliens Bug Hunt. Again, it's September 30th, the release date. If it is past that date, go get it. It's an amazing game. We have other Alien games behind me that is part of our Legendary set. All right, everyone. Best of luck. Don't let them overrun you. Heck, game over, man. See you guys.